Hey, what's up guys? John Cochran here, and today is System Saturday, the day that I bring you a system that how's it go? Hey, what's up guys? John Cochran here, and today is System Saturday. I'm going to explain to you exactly why we do what we do and how everything goes down. And I'm going to show you how to grow your business. These are the things that work in today's market. So you're going to love what we did in here. We're going to go start making some money. Here's how you do it. Hey, what's up guys? John Cochran here, and today is System Saturday, the day that I give you a system that I use in my business that you can rip off, duplicate using your own local market. Now, on today's System Saturday, I'm taking you to 816 Gainsborough. This is a property that we just put under contract from a very unique I don't want to say marketing, but a very unique way, okay? So I've talked a lot about the 90-10 rule over the past month or two into the real estate business, where 90% of your deals are going to come through relationships and 10% of your deals are actually going to come through marketing. This is something completely new that we've been doing into our business. And this particular property, it just went under contract with us, and we put this property under contract for $32,000. We will have this thing sold within 7 days at $50,000. So we have about an $18,000 spread because of the relationship that we built with this particular seller. But how in the world did we find the seller, and how did we find this house for free? Okay, so what we've been doing, guys, is we've been what we call driving for dumps. Now what that means is you're going to be driving around into your sweet spots and you're looking for dumps. You're looking for properties that are vacant, okay? Now we attacked this property because we looked at all these other properties into this area, and we knew that this one had to have been vacant because of the landscaping. There was snow at the time, so we knew that there was nobody, no car tracks or anything. So, but the big key takeaway with this was that the landscaping was overgrown. We knew that this thing was vacant. All we had to do was get our hands onto the seller at this point, okay? Now this is going to be very, very different on how we do this. Because most people would say, okay, so now that you have drove for dumps and you found a property that looks vacant, clearly if you could get your hands onto the seller, they're probably going to be motivated because they have a property that's vacant and they're not doing anything with it. So what we did is you got to find the seller. You got to find the seller, and most people would say, well, John, you got to have this skip tracing software and everything else. And the truth of it is, in order to get your hands onto the seller, the best thing to skip trace these guys is the neighbors. That is going to be the absolute best way to get that seller's contact information. That's exactly what we did. So we went through, and the very first thing that we did once we found that this property was vacant was we put a sign on the door, okay? Just a little sticky, and you make sure that it stays on there, and this is exactly how it reads. I was driving the area taking my son to soccer and wanted to know if you would sell your property to me. Call me at my phone number, John Cochran. If you get this and you're not the owner, can you give them this note to call me? So that's what you're placing right up there onto the door. Now, neighbors and other people are going to see this note, or the mailman or somebody is going to be able to, put you in contact with this seller. That's the first thing, because the seller is probably not there, and that's the one way to get them to call you. The second way is this: you're going to put this right onto their door, but the best way to do this is to go and knock onto the neighbors' doors because they know where this seller is at, okay? So you've got this thing onto the door, and then you go knock on the neighbors' doors and you just ask them. Just say, hey, I put this note onto the door, and I'm really interested in buying this property. I was just taking my son to soccer and it looks like this thing is vacant. Do you know anything about this property? They will spill their life on exactly about this property because they want this thing fixed up. They want somebody to actually live into this property. So what you do is you ask the seller, do you know how to get a hold of, or you ask the neighbors, do you know how to get a hold of the seller? Most of the time they will. Okay, they'll either they'll know where they're at, they will know their phone number, they'll know them on social media, or they'll know their email address. They will be able to get you. It is the best, the most accurate way to skip trace this particular seller. And that's what we did. We knocked on the door and we asked them, we told them that we were interested in buying this property, and could you put us in touch with this seller? They gave us their phone number. They did all of this stuff. Now here's where this comes in to play. So what you're gonna do, now that you have the seller's contact information, and oh, by the way, you need 2 forms of contact information for them. Get their email address, get their social media like Facebook account, their username so you can find them there, and just flat out get their phone number. The thing that you want to do is you want to call this seller now that you know where they're at, and you skip trace them for free. The lead was free, the skip tracing was for free. Now you've got a hold, you know where this seller is at, you've got their phone number. Now here's what you're going to do different than most people, because there's not going to be a for sale sign into this yard. You just know that this thing is vacant. So what you're going to do now that you know the seller's contact information is you're going to call this seller up. And this is exactly what we just did on this property. You call the seller up, and it's basically a cold call, but what you're going to do is you open it up. Okay, you open it up, and here's the script, and I'll post the script below so that you guys can have the script and this message right here. You just open it up and you call them, ring, ring, ring. Hey, my name is John Cochran, and I was calling on 123 Main Street, in Dayton. And I was calling to see how much you have that property for sale for. And they're going to give you a little bit of a chuckle and whatnot because there's not a for sale sign into the yard, but you act like there is. So when you're calling this seller, you act like there's a for sale, balloons on the top of it. I mean, that they're just giving this property away, and that's how you act. So you ask them how much the property is up for sale for, because and that's how you're going to play this. They're going to laugh it off a little bit, and they're going to say that the property isn't for sale, but they will sell it. Because the thing is vacant. You already know that they're interested in selling it because they're not doing anything with this thing. They will tell you the entire story. So the big key takeaway with that is when you call these sellers, act like there's a for sale sign right into the yard, and then they'll get a little chuckle out of it, and then it opens up the conversation to talk about them selling this property to you. And then just tell them. So after they laugh about it and just say, well, that property's not for sale. I don't know, how you found that property is for sale or whatnot, and then just flat out get into it and just say, okay, I was just driving the area and I noticed the property. I saw a sign into the yard, I thought at least, and I'm interested in buying it, and I thought that it was for sale. Do you know how much that you're going to need for this property? And need is a key word right there, okay? So ask them how much they need for the property, and then you go into the same exact script. They're going to go into everything about this property, and they'll tell you everything that they will do. Once you find that they really are motivated and they're really, that you can cut a deal on this thing or somewhat of a deal, then you're going to set up the face-to-face meeting to meet with this seller onto this property. So again, find out from the neighbors exactly where this seller is at. Call this seller, act like there's a for sale sign right into the yard, and open up and just do a straight call to them and ask them how much the property is for sale. It's not for sale, but it's getting ready to be. Go through this exact script, and then once you know that they are motivated, set up the face-to-face appointment, and that's exactly how we got this property under contract, how we're going to make $18,000 on this property. So guys, comment below. I want to know exactly what you're thinking about today's System Saturday. Have you tried this? Because if you haven't, you need to do this one. You've got to really start tapping into relationships, and you'll be able to have $18,000 wholesale fees. So guys, subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, comment below, and I'll see you on the next System Saturday.